On the frenetic killing fields of Mars, shortly after the death of innocents, the venerable Princeps Tardusian of Legio Senex marches to war in the mighty warlord titan, Ambulans Rex. Moderati Crura, status report.
Left leg at 87.3% capacity. Right leg at 90.02% capacity. Ambulance Rex is upright and ready to engage forward momentum engines.
Excellent. Adept Motis, see about raising the capacity of the left leg to match the right.
Oi, Princeps.
Moderati, prepare to engage forward momentum engines, beginning with the right leg.
Preparing to engage forward momentum engines.
On my mark, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Engaging. Right leg lifting.
Very good, Crura. Keep that leg lifting until the foot is entirely in front of the engine. Then bring it back down. How are we doing on raising the capacity of the left leg, Motis?
Left leg now at 87.6% capacity and rising, Princeps.
Keep an eye on the flow of motive force to the left leg, Adept. I can already feel a cramp forming through the haptic interface. How are we doing on that first step, Moderati?
Right knee is nearing apogee, Princeps. Preparing the right foot for descent now.
Careful on the descent, Crura. Seismic detectifiers are picking up signs of loose gravel ahead. Let's not take any risks before we reach the battlefield.
Right foot descending. Contact with Eris Firma in 2, 1. Contact made. Step successfully taken, Princeps. We are still upright.
A fine step, Moderati. Motis, I am registering that the left leg is now at 88.4% capacity. Keep it up. I want that leg at least 89.6% capacity before we take our fourth step. Crura, continue our course with the left leg now. All ahead 3/4.
Aye, Princeps. My Princeps. Slight decline in elevation detected dead ahead. 3 kilometers out. Angle of decline registering at 12 degrees.
By the throne! We'll tip right over. Moderati, belay the previous order. Bring that left foot back down now and adjust course 20 degrees starboard. Engage all pivoting hydraulics and have inertial dampeners on standby. Do it now, Motis. In the name of the machine god, do it now.
Adjusting course now, my Princeps. Pivoting. Pivoting. Oh. Pivot complete, my lord. Inertial stress nominal. Our current course registering at an acceptable 6.1 degree decline. All systems green.
That was a close one. Keep on your toes, adepts. This engine thirsts for war, and we shall slake that thirst yet. Motis, how far out are we from the battlefield?
Calculating. The terrain is difficult. There are at least 2 craters between us and our destination, and a sand dune. But our cogitators indicate that we are only 7 kilometers out of firing range, Princeps.
We're practically right on top of them. Buckle up, boys. We're in for a wild walk. Raise the void shields.
Already on it, Princeps. Without voids, we'd be walking with the lost.
And the damned.
Welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of the Lost and the Damned podcast. Hi, I'm one of your hosts. We call me Uncle, and I am so happy to be here today with my dear friend.
Hello, I'm Faden. I am your titular Lost as we go into Mechanicum, huh?
We go into it. I'm a titular Damned. We're the Lost and the Damned, and we both got titulars. Mechanicum. This is a Graham McNeil book. This is, unfortunately, breaking the streak of books I've enjoyed in this series. I don't know about you, but I think this was a bit of a stinker. It's not horrible. It's not the worst thing ever, and sadly, it's not even like so egregious, like politically, that I can read it in entertained outrage. And there are good things in it. There's potential here, but this book falls very flat for me, despite its very important place in the overall canon. Like in the story, this is a very important book, but damn, didn't like. How about you?
Yeah, I was bored by large chunks of this book. It kind of a snooze fest a lot of times.
Absolutely. I think it's amazing how many words Graham McNeil can use to describe so vaguely so little. Like I don't know exactly how to put it. I think he has a limited vocabulary, maybe, compared to a lot of other science fiction writers I've read. And he also has a habit of just kind of naming things as opposed to describing them. And or really giving any kind of interesting description of their actions, what they're doing. He just kind of lists events and names. A lot. I feel like his books often feel like you're reading like a narrativized history story. You know, like it's like we're reading a sad attempt at a sci-fi Shakespearean history, and this one really doesn't work.
Writing Warhammer as if it's historical fiction.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. What a bummer. I think that the worst thing I can say about this book, one of the worst things you can say about any book, it's very disappointing. There's a lot of potential in a book focused on the Mechanicum. It's a bunch of freaky weirdos with these strange hypocritical beliefs, and they're super techie science guys, and yet the most religious, cultish, blindly adherent to ignorant faith faction allowed to operate within the Imperium during the period of the Great Crusade and the Heresy. And they're into this body modification to an extreme degree. They're cyborg people. All of their tech is kind of horrifying when you look at it the right way. When you think about how common servitors are, for example, lobotomized slave people with robot arms and legs usually. There's potential for real grimdark horror here, an interesting examination of what makes a person human. Like that, there's potential for all of that, and I don't think you really get an interesting look into any of those things here. All the characters just feel like regular people in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and what if a lot of the book is dedicated to telling you where things are at and where things are made, and then all these big-ass giant machines slowly lumbering their way to those places, or in some instances, simulations on how the big, slow-ass lumbering machines could go, and just running those ad infinitum.
And then being really, really, really excited about the results. Did you see? That reaction really cracked me up.
It's such a. Sometimes this book, I enjoy. I personally enjoyed the Dalia stuff, and then I would get hit with any Titan scene or any mech scene, and go, "This is so boring. This is so boring. What the fuck is wrong with this? This should be sick."
Yeah, I think the Knight and Titan scenes are particularly disappointing. On first read, the Dalia scenes didn't really grab me. I will say, like, I like Dalia. I like the character Dalia. I think I really like. There are things I like about Zoosh. You know,
Right.
one of her companions. I think this book suffers greatly from too many character syndrome, which, like, lots of sci-fi has lots of characters. This has, like, the problem with this is that so many characters should and probably could be easily combined. We'll probably get into a list of most of them at some point, but, like, you'll see a Dramatis Personae at the beginning of this, and it is twice as long as it needs to be.
That's a common complaint with these books, right?
Yeah, and it makes me wonder. Like, I don't have access to, like, the old school like rule books and lore books. I wonder how many of the named characters in these books, like, only exist because they were named in a flavor text that's 3 sentences long 20 years ago. You know, and, like, and it's like, oh yeah, like, this was a piece of armor passed down to Princeps what's his butt from the Horus Heresy, and it's like, oh well, he's a named character. We got to give him an origin story now. I wonder how many of the characters in this book are that.
I mean,
ultimately, I think a lot of them should be combined. Like, I think that the whole Dalia team should be like 3 people instead of like 6 people.
Well, and also all the Princeps.
Yeah. We shouldn't. I think you could cut the Knight plot of this story completely, and it would just be better. That we really don't get a whole lot of value out of that. The final charge that they do at the very end is kind of interesting, but I don't know. Like, I think you're right. There's way too many Princeps. At least we get the perspectives of too many Princeps. Like, maybe we can have all these named characters, but just stay focused on the Stormlord, you know? But we're bouncing around between too many perspectives. A lot of characters you'll only see for like 1 or 2 pages, like, from their perspective, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. There are books that can do that well, but it's just not used intentionally. Like,
and this book does have one moment where it is, and it's when that one guy gets crushed by the Kanban machine. Where I go, yeah, this was the good use of a 1-page character.
Okay,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Okay, so that's actually a good example. And that, I don't know, that's, we get a tiny taste of grimdark there, and so I think we both said that there are things we like here, there are moments we like here. That's a good example of that. And then a lot of other things just feel thoughtless or pointless or mindless. They were just, like, I think we've said it before, we'll say it again probably. Graham McNeil needs a stronger editor. Or an editor with a stronger voice, or more interest in how the book is structured.
Maybe more interest in the construction of stories and what makes it good.
Yeah, instead of just a list of important things that need to happen.
It's so funny. This is the follow-up Graham did Fulgrim last time in the Horus Heresy.
Yeah. And
which
I
was
think that's why
500-page book, so even bigger than this one.
Yeah. And this one felt more bloated. And I think
somehow
coming up, right? I don't know. I think I was most disappointed, especially that this was the book that McNeil comes back with after Fulgrim. Like, Fulgrim is a book full of weird little freaks. Yeah. And the couple scenes that are really wild. And I was hoping for lots and lots of that here, and you don't really get that. Yeah. I think we should probably just get into it. Are you ready for your initial summary?
Yeah, should we maybe talk about the cover first, though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, before we even open the book, you got to look at its face, and it's a boring face. It's a telling cover.
It truly is somewhat funny that I feel like I've seen this AI-generated image on this cover.
And this book came out in, what, 2009?
Yeah.
Yeah, look it up, listeners. Mechanicum by Graham McNeil. It's just a guy in robes with lots of wires and minigun coming out of his back.
I wouldn't even
and
say lots of
sparks
wires,
everywhere.
though, right? For how many wires these people can have, it's not really that many wires.
It's a moderate amount of wires. I'm sure there's more we can't see behind the robes.
True.
Yeah, he's got like something. Is he holding something in his? No, that's just his chest, I guess.
He just
Hand
has a
over his
hand out.
chest. Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
sad.
It's another one of those covers. They love for some reason for these covers to just show nameless characters. Like, who knows who the fuck this is?
Explosions.
And explosions. Lots of sparks. Yeah. It's a fireworks display on a cloudy day with the sun peeking through.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
And,
warfare. It just looks like fireworks.
Yeah. Wow.
There's a
not a
forest
good
city
sign. How boring this
billowing
shit
in
is.
smoke, but the smoke's really dark, so it's really hard to tell that it's like a city in smoke.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. I couldn't even tell. I couldn't bother to look close enough to tell what was back there. Yeah. Wow. It really is wild how for a hobby that revolves around art, like handcrafted
covers.
art and painting, and it relies so heavily on its aesthetics. They just cannot, for the life of them, make a book cover that's interesting or fun to look at. How?
Yeah, it's dire over here.
Yeah. Well, let's hear about it. Tell me what this book is.
All right. One sentence summary for Mechanicum. Dalia discovers her destiny amidst a revolt amongst the Mechanicum itself.
Good.
That's
Yeah.
basically what the book's about.
Yeah. Dalia, you're special. Why are you special? What were you made for? And everybody's blowing up their science at each other.
Should we get the summary for part 1? Principia Mechanicum?
Yeah, do it. Principia.
Principia.
Dalia
Cythera understands technology inherently. She understands it so well that she attracts the attention of Coriel Zeth. Coral Zeth?
Coriel Zeth, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Leader of Magma City, which I think is a great name. I love this one. I love the name of Magma City.
I do like Magma City. Yes.
It's good. Instead of being executed for heresy, Zeth puts her to work on a project to make an Akashic Reader. Zeth wants to understand all technology from all human knowledge. This will allow her to scan the warp and, remember lost technology. Dalia works with Zoch Chajhaya. Zoch Chajhaya, a machinist.
Zoosh, I think. I think it's Zoosh.
Zoosh.
I'm not gonna bother with the last name. I'm not. Yeah.
Dalia works with Zoch Chajhaya as a machinist. Caxton Torgau, a component assembler. Severine Delmere.
That sounds right.
A schematic daughter. Michelin?
You're fucking me up now because Melisson. I think it's just Melisson.
Melisson Oster, a technical overseer.
You're making me question everything with your pronunciations. I'm like, what? Okay, sorry, continue.
We need to go back to the angel names.
Michelin, that's good. I like that. I like that better.
We need to go back to the
The
angel
tire
names.
lady.
Bad. Tire lady. They are under the watchful eyes of Romu 31, Dalia's protector. With Dalia's leadership, they create a better version of the Akashic Reader. One problem, Dalia didn't consider the source of the reader's power, the Astronomicon?
You're the best. Astronomicon.
Oh. The Astronomicon, parentheses, a big psychic beacon. Dalia tries to save the empath, Jonas Millis, but gets plagued with a vision about the dragon instead. Meanwhile, Fabricator General Kelber Hall rallies people to the cause of the Dark Mechanicum, aligned with the betrayer, Horus. Regulus, under Horus's orders, opens the vault of Morvek? Morvek?
The vaults of Morvek.
Yeah. This was sealed by the Emperor, who refused to say why he sealed it. Thus,
Yes.
Kelber Hall's greed releases a bad vibes scrap code that infects all of Mars. Elsewhere, Wrath Maven fights against the evil Cabal machine, a creatus of one Lucas Trorm. Wrath barely survives the encounter along with his mount.
Lucas Crom.
Lucas Crom.
Crom. Yeah. Like Chrome, but without the E at the end.
Wrath barely survives the encounter along with his mounts, the Equitos Bellum?
Equitus Bellum.
Equitos Bellum. Wrath vows revenge against the Kaban machine. The Titan pilots are divided and at each other's throats. The Kaban machine was a firebomb to the Legio Tempestus?
Legio Tempestus.
Oh my god, these fucking names. Yeah, a firebomb to their infighting. This leads to the Horus-sided Mortis faction crossing the border, basically declaring war. And that's part 1.
Yeah, it's a lot of plot lines. It's not all... I mean, I think it's not all that interesting.
No.
So, like, I think flatly, I was trying to come up with a more interesting way of putting this. It's dumb. Like, this plot is just dumb. And it's about the people who are ostensibly some of the smartest people in the entire galaxy. At least as far as humanity is concerned. And everything's dumb and everyone's dumb. First of all, the Akashic Reader is... Okay, so it's a machine that lets you access all knowledge. What does that even mean? Like, truly, what does that mean? Are you saying you will have every piece of information ever, so you'll know how to count every grain of sand on every planet on everywhere in the entire universe? You'll multiple galaxies. You'll have access to all of the memories from all living beings everywhere all at once. You'll have access, like, all knowledge contains a lot of information. What does that even mean? And how ever possible could ever one human brain access, process, or use any of that in a discernible way? Like, I get it. This is sci-fi. You're allowed to have just nonsense sci-fi stuff, especially when you use your MacGuffin of the warp, which is just we're using the warp. That's why it works. Fine, but we don't even really deal with what that means, what it would mean to have access to all knowledge. Like, that would be so fundamentally, completely and utterly altering in every way to every paradigm we have of existence. Like,
well, I
don't
think
know.
the important thing about this book, though, is what is its subheader? And the subheader is knowledge is power. So the position that this book places is that the acquisition or the hoarding of knowledge in itself is a form of power.
Yeah.
Whether it is like actual ability to wage warfare, or if that's even just a negotiating or bargaining piece to keep other sides complacent.
And it's just so boring to make all knowledge. It's a machine that gives you all knowledge. Like that, I don't know. Like,
it doesn't play with the fact that they are kind of blindly doing this just for the sense of power, right?
Yeah, no, like, yeah, there's no specific end in mind. It's just like, yeah, well, why wouldn't we want that? Yes. Do you know what the Akashic records are?
Yeah, it's like it's a belief of just all. It's a compendium of all events, right? Like that's.
Yeah, it's the tablet on which all things that happen, will happen, are happening is written here, and it when a person can access, it's like very woo hippie spiritual stuff. These days, if you're talking about the Akashic records, you're talking about using your pineal gland to reach into your genetic memory and relive your past lives and remember things you already knew. And which is funny because I think they use the pineal antenna to connect to the Astronomicon.
This is 19th century shit.
Yeah.
They just learned about other religions and are applying it to Christianity.
Yes. Very fun. Except not at all. Very boring. So let's
see. I think the fun bit would be they get the Akashic Reader going, and then instead of it just like kind of working, it like works but causes issues, right? Like in this story, it's not that the reader itself is the issue. It's just the issue is, well, we have a secret third thing happening.
Yeah, no, like they don't do anything interesting with the reader. It's just, oh, well, we have it. It basically does work. Yep, good job. We've done it. Now we just need to have it. Oh, man. Oh, the bad guys are going to try and take it from us. Guess nobody can have it. Dang. Like, that's there's something they could have said here, something that could have been done here. And they're just like, no, it's just the power and we should have it. But we can't hold on to it. So we'll just get rid of it.
Yeah, it's we get to the Akashic Reader as a means to getting to the dragon. It's not in service of itself. It's in service of a different thing.
Yes. Which also is, I mean, it's kind of interesting that they only get to use it's an interesting message here. I don't know how much I want to say about it now because we'll talk about it more when we get to the dragon. But I do think there's an interesting message here in that they use the source of all knowledge, this ultimate power, but the only thing they're allowed to use it for is to access another source of ultimate power that ultimately the whole point of them accessing it or having gotten access to it is so that they can make it inaccessible to all others. I kind of, that's interesting. So like if we use
knowledge is power question mark.
So why I think it's interesting, and I wouldn't say this is a good argument, is I think you could easily use the Akashic Reader and the dragon as stand-ins for just like nuclear weapons. Like the reason why we need access to nuclear weapons is so that we could stop anybody else from getting those nuclear weapons.
All deterrence theory.
Yes. And you know what? I think in the world we live in today, I think we're seeing that this is just a bad idea. Yeah.
Important since we're on the Akashic Reader, it is described as what I imagined the Golden Throne being. So,
yes.
Golden Throne is an Akashic Reader of sorts or something. That's my new Emperor fact.
Yeah, I was going to say, you do get some Emperor facts in this book. We hear about things Emperor has done.
We get some Emperor facts in this book.
I think you get a pretty good picture of the Emperor as guy who just refuses to explain the shit he does, and that's almost always the reason why stuff blows up in his face.
Yep.
Now, the argument that's always made there is that, well, if he told them what was in the vaults of Moravec, they would have just ignored him right away and gone right into it. Or they would have sought it immediately. But I mean, they do it anyway.
I think it's actually a good bit, right? Like, I think it's really good that the Emperor is like this.
Oh, no, I agree too. Like, so the thing I like about the Emperor in how I read him in the Horus Heresy is that he's his own worst enemy. Having this ultimate power that he thinks will solve all the problems causes more problems.
Yeah, well, he's a bad teacher, right? This is your thesis
yes.
of if the Emperor is a better teacher, it won't go down this way.
And it's wild that the faction he allows to continue existing in its blind cultish ignorance is the one responsible for science and technology, which is what he keeps saying is the whole point of this crusade, is to unite humanity, defend them against the darkness, and issue in a new age of enlightenment, technological advancement, and prosperity. And the faction responsible for virtually all technological creation and maintenance is blindly ignorant and allowed to believe in what we later learn is a god he is imprisoning and trying to keep hidden. And he just lets them worship it.
Yeah, it's all according to plan.
What? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I kind of think it rules.
I
think it rules. It's so sick. It's so sick to just be the maker of your undoing.
Yeah, I just wish there was a better explanation for it.
I'm at the point where we're at the dangerous territory of I think it actually needs to start explaining less if it's going to play in this way, right? It's almost explaining too much.
Perhaps. It's very on the nose.
Yeah. I need them to be more I think they need to be more secretive on the Emperor. I'm learning too much about them.
Yeah. It's very we're learning about them in the way you learn broadly about random historical figures in these kinds of historical fiction narratives, right?
Yeah.
It's just big broad strokes, famous lines, and wow, he did that big crazy thing. That's amazing. What a great man.
This is the equivalent of George Washington showing up in your historical fiction novel.
Yes. Yep. And he put his hand on the cherry tree, and he stood there for 16 minutes, and they turned around and said, "We shouldn't chop this down."
Or it's like, oh, we were having tea with the lord of the estate, and oh, look who rode up is George Washington.
Yeah. Something I really hate about this book is that the bad guys are bad because they're bad. But not in a fun, like,
not in the word
way.
bearer way.
Yeah, not in a Furious Abyss way that's fun and crazy. Just in a, should we be rebels? Yeah, I've never really liked this guy. Let's be rebels. Okay, we're rebels. And then when the scrap code is introduced, it's especially egregious. It's like, oh, we're infected with the zombie plague of believing in dark gods now, and it's a virus, and we're all infected with it, and only the smartest people can shield their minds from its screeching propaganda with their new spheric technology, and all the weaklings and dummies and maybe there's something interesting there that the more regressive factions are the ones who all become Dark Mechanicus or die in the
the ones who don't have Wi-Fi get fucked.
The end of innocence.
Death of innocence.
Death of innocence. The night when scrap code infects everything and blows people up.
Bad vibes.
Yeah.
That scrap code is very, very bad.
It sure is. It makes your radio yell at you. It's annoying and staticky. It's code that doesn't make any sense until it does, and it hurts until it doesn't. And boy, everybody needs it. Yum scrap code. I don't know. I think it could have been scarier, spookier. It's fun. The description of when Kelbor Hall, the fabricator general, gets infected is a little spoopy. But I want more of the horror. I think a lot of I guess I'm getting too far ahead of myself now because I wanted to describe some of the servitors that the Dark Mechanicum produces. But let's talk about the Kaban machine. This robot enemy that appears. So what does it look like to you in your head when you read this book that barely describes it?
Yeah, I think it looks like kind of like what if a giant sphere had tank treads and lots of guns and had three eyes that hate you.
I mean, that's basically how it's described, yeah. A sphere with tank treads.
No, I imagine it's super spherical, like comically spherical.
Right. And, it's... So, because, okay, Graham McNeil describes this thing, which is, this is, the ultimate villain in the book in terms of, the fight scenes. At least for the knights. And it's also, the primary... murderer and antagonist towards the, I don't know, I said murderer, assailant of Dalia and her friends.
The Kaban machine is a murderer.
It does murder a lot of people. Yeah, that
is
word
sentient.
was the wrong one for that moment. But anyway, it's described as spherical, 3 times. It's spherical. Oh, but also it has massive pauldrons.
Yes.
Those big shoulder armor, because everything in Warhammer needs those, which I'm not going to complain. But how could it be spherical and have big, tall shoulder pauldrons and gun arms? And it's just so vague. It's So yeah, okay. Here's my specific. I wrote it down. Roughly spherical, heavily weaponized arms. Behind high pauldrons, there are a number of metallic arms extended from its shoulders, like massively thick mechadendrites, equipped with a variety of lethal-looking weapons. Like, lethal-looking weapons. Oh, they're lethal-looking weapons. Thank you. Great description. Heavily weaponized. The arms are heavily weaponized. Okay. What kind of weapons? You want to give me, like, 3 more words? Come on, man. Something. They're heavily weaponized.
Weapons look lethal.
Yeah. They're not just mechadendrites. They're not just thick mechadendrites. They're massively thick. Oh, very helpful. Thank you. I don't know. And it's a sphere, but it's mounted on a track unit. That just doesn't. I can't gronk that in my head without giving it like another torso element, which is never really described. I don't know. These are all kind of pedantic complaints, but I think I'm just using this as a microcosm example of how basically everything in this book is described.
Well, especially the mechs, right?
Especially the mechs, the knights. Yeah, because what did you think the knights looked like? We talked about this briefly earlier.
So
what did you think the knights looked like, having not seen a Warhammer knight before?
So I just thought, hey, I mean, they're knights, so obviously their mounts are horses. I mean, they kind of like play on Equus with the name of Raph's machine.
Oh yeah, they're always saying they're mounting and riding them. That's how it's always described.
They're war mounts, they're war hounds. And so I thought they were like 4-legged creatures. Maybe a bit of a since I'm Gundam pilled, Foon Psyche from G Gundam.
And what do you think the weapons look like? Because they're not really described either.
Oh, I had no clue. I just thought gun.
Which, like ultimately, maybe it doesn't
side.
really matter. I mean, like, 'cause, you could make the argument that, like, a sci-fi writer like Frank Herbert, for example, doesn't really describe shit.
Yeah,
he leaves a
the
lot to your
mechanical
imagination.
shit. Yeah.
Yes, especially the technology. There's an argument to be made there, but I mean, this is Warhammer. Like, these are the models. Like, this is the thing. And maybe that's part of the problem, because Graham McNeil especially will often just name, it's a paladin. And just arguably, yes, most Warhammer readers are going to pick it up and be like, it's paladin. Okay, I can picture that perfectly. Yeah. Oh, it's the rotary effect of its cannon used describing what it's doing. It's got a Gatling cannon. Duh. I know what that looks like. I know what that does. I know what it's good against, what it's weak against. Perfect. It's in my head. But like for a non-Warhammer reader, this is an almost impenetrable book, I think. Between how boring it is and between how poorly described everything is.
Well, another part is this book invites you to go seek out this information, right? Not even this book, but these books in general. What they're actually also doing is, for the new readers, go look it up. Go find it. Go find the model. And then you can point to it and say, oh, that's what they look like. And then you like cement that model in your head.
Maybe it's all just an elaborate marketing scheme. Yeah, maybe.
Wait, are these books meant for us to buy toys?
Wait a minute. Are you telling me people create media just so that we buy merchandise attached to the media?
No, I think this is a James Workshop thing specially only. I don't think other companies do this. Anyways, I'm going to go watch Gundam, which isn't trying to sell me anything.
Right. Yeah, I think this is a very unique technique. I think other companies should really look into this. There's possibilities here for great profit maxing. Wow. Never thought of it like this before.
Could you imagine if Gundam made up a new suit just to sell a toy? That would be ridiculous.
That would be so funny. Wow. Yeah, I can't, can you imagine, a whole culture revolving around that?
I just got to say, while we're just still in the mech zone, as I like to call it, I don't like any of these mech scenes in this fucking book.
Not in this book.
I don't like it at all.
No. The Titans are, Titan combat has, I feel like, I don't know, it's been a while since I've read one, but I feel like I've read books that had good Titan combat or interesting scenes with Titans in them. But damn, these are not those. It's so slow. It's like the slowest. It reads like naval combat from the early 20th century, between submarines. a lot of the time. They're just putting out their scanners, and sometimes the weather conditions make it harder for them to see out there. And so yeah, it's naval combat. It's huge weapons firing slowly and taking time to reload, and all ahead 15%. Raise the shields on the starboard side. It's not really that interesting. The stakes are high, and they don't really feel that high. And a lot of the fight scenes are just kind of lists of what happened in the fight scene.
Well, especially since we don't technically get a fight scene really until the end of the book between Titans, like a real one, right?
Yeah, not a real one. Yeah,
the first one is a border dispute more than anything.
Yeah, it's a very drawn out, it's built up. You're cutting between multiple scenes, and it's slowly building up from different perspectives. Like, oh, are they gonna fight? Are they gonna fight? Are these two legions gonna fight? Tempestus and Mortis, here it comes. They had that diplomatic meeting that fell apart, and now they're gonna fight. And they walk right up to the line. And, oh, he passed the line. He crossed onto my side. He's in my territory. I can shoot him if I want, but he turns away at the last minute. Never mind. We're not gonna fight. And it did give the old man a heart attack.
Yeah.
Besides that, the fight at the beginning between the Knights and the Kaban machine, this is the only real action we get, and it's real letdown.
Well, and it could be good if it wasn't so long, right? I think the concept is inherently interesting. What happens when they cross the border? We are outgunned. We are outflanked. Do we actually fire even though they cross the border and just sacrifice our lives for no reason? I think that's interesting, but when it happens for, 75 pages, and because this book is doing the classic Horus Heresy thing where it is cutting back and forth between the action like a television show, it drags out this Titan skirmish for so long that I kept forgetting who is who.
Yes, I had to reread this. So, this book is 400 pages, but I feel like I spent more time reading this book than any of the other books we've read. And it's because I had to keep going back and rereading. I was like, who the fuck is that? Who is that? Why? Wait, which one is he again? What's he piloting? Why? Where are they?
It's miserable. It's miserable.
So interminably boring and very little payoff. In the second half, I do like some of the Titan combat more. Maybe just I like it because it's there. We have some. But it's not that. It's mostly just, and then he fired his gun, and he blew up an enemy, and he was really happy. He felt how exciting that was.
Oh, he took control from the servitors so he could feel the heat blasting off his thick gun.
Wanted to feel it himself, and it felt good. He clenched his fist, and the gun fired, and it hit the target, and then the target blew up. And then he turned to look for another target. That's what it feels like. We're not exaggerating that much, folks.
This does make me want to read Gundam Light novels to see how this compares. You know what I mean? I feel like I need to read a different mech style story because this is just nothing I like about mechs at all.
No, it's really not that interesting. And the night scenes, I think I mentioned earlier, I think are especially bad. They just it should be closer to the action and more intense than the Titans, but it feels just as distant. And I think the characters, there are so many pilot characters in this book, and there's so little distinction between them. I feel like most of the characters in this book do not really have distinct voices, or personalities in many ways, and it makes things hard to keep track of, and it makes it hard to care about anybody.
Yeah, the most we get for the Knights is we got Wrath Maven. He wants revenge, and so does his machine, and the machine's also hungry or whatever. And it's okay.
They're also emotional too. That's the thing. Every character in this book is super duper emotional, which is fine. It's a war novel. It's melodrama. But these are Mechanicus characters. Mechanicus characters are always or Mechanicum at this point. Mechanicum characters are always described as, like cold and unfeeling and very logical and interested in numbers and efficiency, and they talk about those things, but they feel very strongly about them, and they have very emotional reactions to everything. And sometimes it feels intentional. Like, it's kind of funny when Kelbor Hall is like, these fucking idiots, they're so emotional, they're always getting their emotions swept up, and it's so frustrating. I'm so frustrated and angry with how they let their emotions take hold of them, thinking about his subordinates.
And then he's like, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Let's open these vaults. I'm like a kid at Christmas.
Yeah. I'm committed. I've given you my word. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Yeah, my ego is smarting. Let's do this.
That stuff's good. I think that stuff's kind of good.
It feels kind of intentional with him and funny, but I think the fact that all the other characters are, I don't know, like the most human Mechanicus characters ever. I think Dalia is enough humanity to go around. I think it would be much more interesting if we had seen various strata of weird little tech freaks, like characters.
Yeah, there's no freaks in this. I think that's the real issue, right? There's just no freaks.
And like a lot of times, Graham will do this thing where like there'll be two characters talking, and then he'll be like, "Oh, and they're talking in binary, by the way." It's just like, "Oh, okay. Well, there's something interesting that could be happening here. Like there's potential. Like what would change about the way we interact with people if we were speaking in binary? If we were speaking in a fundamentally different code."
No, it'd be the exact same, actually.
You think? Like
that's what this book says, at least. It'd be the exact same.
And they sometimes they describe it as binary. Often it's linguotechnist is just the word they use to describe what is essentially the equivalent of binary in Warhammer. But it's just like mentioned. It's like, oh, and by the way, they're speaking linguotechnist. And this next conversation would be had very efficiently and quickly because it's in linguotechnist. And it just describes like a conversation between characters, and like they can excuse small talk, but they do kind of do banter. So like it's I don't know, not well executed. Bad demerits.
I like Dalia for the most part. Dalia just completely normal, besides the fact that she can understand. I mean, she has a bit of an autistic savant thing going on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Playing in those tropes.
I was way more interested in her before she was a psyker. When it's just like, oh no, she has an eidetic memory, and there was like a really potentially interesting thing there where like, oh, so like she's cool and special, and her Zeph points this out, like she's cool and special because she hasn't been indoctrinated into the Mechanicum. She's not Mechanicum.
Right, she can look at things and analyze them and actually find real solutions.
Yes.
And root causes.
She's just some secretary who decided to take the initiative to make her computer run more efficiently, and she got thrown in prison for that, because thou shalt not change a machine or whatever, altered the machine.
Thou shalt not change administrator privileges.
Yes. She's like, I just thought it would be more efficient. Thrown in solitary confinement.
Prepare to die.
I like that most of these books have at least one extremely human character to contrast against everybody else. So there are some good moments, like especially on the approach to the Magma City, where she's like in a spaceship for the first time and it freaks her out, and approaching the giant black pyramid, the Temple of All Knowledge. It's just terrifying how big it is, and
it's nice to see someone in a scary situation be appropriately scared in these books.
Yeah. I like Dalia. She's a good girl. It's funny how long it takes her to realize that the machine she's just built is gonna probably murder a bunch of people, and nobody gives a fuck but her. That's kind of funny, but I mean, she does give a fuck at least. I don't know. She says nice things to her companions. She's a good girl. And ultimately, in the end, she does make a really difficult choice that's pretty cool, pretty heroic. I don't know. Do we have much more to say about the first part of this book?
I love the introduction of Zeth, because instantly we must know.
Oh, yes. I'm glad you brought this up.
Instantly we must know that Zeth, she's a woman.
Yeah.
Though her
she's
body
obviously female. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, read
yeah.
it. Read it.
Let me read the paragraph about her features. Her features were invisible, hidden behind a studded head mask and opaque goggles. Puffs of steam exhaled from a rebreather mask, and a skirt of bronze mail hung low over her shapely armored legs. Though her body armor obscured all traces of Zeth's humanity, there was no doubt as to her sex. Every curve and every plate of armor had been designed to enhance her natural form. Her slender waist, the curve of her thighs, and the swell of her breasts. Graham.
Sexy metal mommy in her magma city.
Page 50. This is page 55. barely in this book, and I already get a in large text. Graham, what the fuck are you doing? Note.
Low-key, I had a note. I was like, after reading about Dalia for a few pages, before we meet Zeph, I was like, oh, proud of you, Graham. You haven't said shit about how her titties look or, what her booty looks like, how handsome she is, how sexy she be, all the people turning their heads. None of that. Good job. And then as soon as we meet Zeph, oh, sweet, sexy robot mama.
Then you find out what Graham's into.
Yeah, love it.
Also, she has perfume. She has a perfume mister that sprays perfume ahead of her, I guess.
Yes, that's right. She always smells good, and that's the thing. That's it's an almost interesting thing, is that all of the good guy tech priests have very human affectations in some way or another.
Yeah, they keep some of their humanity.
Yeah, like she's very augmented and very robotic and mechanical, but she shapes herself to look very human. She wants to smell good. That's a very human affectation. Adept Kane, who becomes the loyalist fabricator general after the coup, Adept Kane tries really hard to look human. Like, he still has his human face meat, and that's extremely rare for an adept. He's the second most powerful adept of Mars, essentially. He's like vice fabricator general, and he still has his human face meat. And he tries to be as subtle as possible with his augmetics. And then Adept Maximal, the other guy who probably should be cut, he's not that important. I really don't understand.
I always forgot about him until they're like, and Maximal, of course.
And Maximal's here, yeah. And I'm just like, okay. One of the characters that should have been cut, I think, or combined with Kane. But he, interestingly, he's extremely augmented. He horrifies Dalia when she first sees him. But he has a beautiful voice because he uses a vox emitter that emulates a famous opera singer. And he has an appreciation for sound.
A+ for
That's
that.
sick. A+, agreed. And something that made me think, you know what? We should see a lot more of that in sci-fi stories, like where there are cyborg people. Cyborg people always have downgraded voices, like where they are more monotone or whatever. And what? If we have the technology to integrate full robotic augmetics and shit and robot organs, we would absolutely, people would be using high-end voice augmentation to sound more than human, extra human.
To be fair, though, we got to also remember that a lot of this does come from disability spaces and what sort of disability technology exists, and thus that illustrates the imaginary of the writer themselves. So that specific voice is the type of voice that people, who lost the ability to speak and have those computers to speak for them, that is specifically playing on that, which again, it's also, Mechanicum's wading deep into the prosthesis equals loss of humanity equals bad.
Yeah. So, and I think that was the one last topic I wanted to touch on, I think maybe before we move on. And I'll save a lot of what I'm going to say for a future scene, but Zoosh, I think we should talk about Zoosh a little bit.
Yeah.
He's one of the people in Dalia's team. He's the mechanist of the crew, the guy who actually makes the stuff that they build.
Yeah, does the machining for the parts.
Yeah, Dalia kind of conceptualizes. Melisson organizes their efforts. The drafting is done by Severin. and then Zeush machines the parts. Caxton assembles the parts.
Caxton gets fucked.
Yeah. Zeush is a dwarf, and that's pretty much the limit of his disability. Like he's a dwarf, and I wonder how much of this is intentional, but like he has this interesting thing where he talks about eugenics.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, is this Graham like saying, because Dalia refutes him when he makes these points about eugenics, because he seems to have like this internal loathing over his own dwarfism because his parents got killed because of him. He grew up in a eugenicist society, and when his parents, who were not supposed to be lovers, gave birth to him, it was proof that they had done something they weren't supposed to do, and that led to their deaths. And
this is supposed to be the kind of like the liberal, like, look, even people who are born of non-perfect genes are useful too, right? Like this
exactly.
This is the typical like well-meaning liberal move, I think.
Yes, because it, like, there's potential here for something really interesting to be explored. I mean, like, man, you don't need to prove anything to be of value, but instead, Dalia goes on to, she really presses him on this. She goes on to say, "No, you're brilliant. It's okay. You're brilliant." Like, damn, what a missed opportunity to at least, if only in words, have one character say, even if you weren't, like, you're like, she does. So she mentions you're a loyal friend, but she also says you're brilliant. But
yeah,
I don't know, like,
just doesn't affirm that.
Maybe you
that
don't even
person
need to
has
be
the
a loyal
right to
friend to
exist.
deserve deserve the right to exist. Like, you know, but
Like
whatever.
You know, it's one of those moves where, you know, it's tokenism, right? It's just tokenism in a sense.
It is.
And also, it's so throwaway in this book. I kind of think it works for its best because I kind of completely forgot about this until you brought it back up again. Because the book doesn't really care about this much besides one moment.
Yeah.
And like the team itself, I'll read from page 93. This is them working on the Akashic Reader. It had taken them a full 5 rotations to get this far, and with only 2 to go, they were either on the brink of their greatest triumph or doomed to ignoble failure. Despite the awkward frigidity of their initial meeting, they had all worked well as a team, and relations had thawed in the face of each other's skills. So we don't even get the scenes of them learning to trust each other, of bonding, of building. This is just kind of secondary because this book has other concerns.
And then they were bonded. Yeah.
Right, and then they were bonded because we need to get back to the Titans. Oh my God, it's so important we get back to the Titans having those little squabbles.
Yep. Oh, and Dalia has a crush on Caxton, and Caxton has a crush on Dalia, and everybody knows about it, and everybody thinks it's cool.
And they all bone. Not they all bone, but they bone.
They do bone.
Also, they tease Caxton saying, you know, do you have a wife? And then Caxton's like, well, I don't have a wife. It's like, oh, sorry, do you have a husband? He's like, I don't have that either.
Yeah.
Because gay marriage is fine in this. Gay marriage is good. We're good with gay marriage in the Imperium.
Yeah. I wonder if Graham got shit after his previous 2 books and was told, you need to be nice in this one. Like, you need to throw some woke in it. Put some woke in it.
Well, no, I think we just get a lot of well-meaning liberalism in these books, right? I've been thinking about this a lot, where they just fall into the tropes because, you know, British writers of a certain type of personality, a.k.a. play Warhammer.
Yeah. And raised in a certain generation, you know.
Raised in a certain generation.
Raised in the middle of Thatcherism.
Yeah. And, like, you know, raised on Warhammer probably, where they appreciate the punkness of it. I just think, you know, sometimes you're bad at writing a thing, and that's fine. That happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes your well-meaning liberalism just kind of falls flat on its face. And you know what?
Yeah.
All right.
Graham McNeill was, I think, an architect, or was about to join an architecture firm or something like that before he got his job at Games Workshop. And his first jobs at Games Workshop were writing in rulebooks. So he was rulebook writing and lore blurb writing in rulebooks. And he writes novels as though they were lore blurbs and rule books, just novel length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for the time he needed an extra 100 pages for Fulgrim, which kind of crazy for that, Graham. But honestly, I remember Fulgrim a lot better than the other one. So maybe that's the key. Maybe that's the extra juice he needs.
Okay, I think we're ready for part 2 now.
All right. Part 2. System A Mechanicum?
That sounds right.
That sounds right. The Kaban machine kills and kills and kills while Mars is under siege by scrap code. This event is called the Death of Innocence. Caches of knowledge and history are lost. Reactors and forges are destroyed. Mars is both literally and figuratively on fire as the Mechanicum loses ground to the Dark Mechanicum. This culminates to an all-out assault. Dalia has visions in the darkness of being watched by a hooded figure and a giant creature behind the hooded figure. This leads her to the revelation that she must go find the Dragon of Mars in the Noctis Labyrinthus.
Yes.
Everyone but Mechalin helps Dalia leave Magna City. Melicin. But Ro Mu 31 catches up. Instead of bringing Dalia and her friends back to Zeth, Ro Mu 31 joins them. Their mag train is attacked by the Kaban machine, but with her powers, Dalia tricks the Kaban machine into thinking they're dead. One of the Titan pilots, Princess Cavallero, is put in an... Is that right?
Princeps, yeah.
Oh, Princeps.
There's a P at the end. It's not princess, it's Princeps.
Yeah, I'm just saying Princeps bad. I'm just not enunciating it right.
Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I just got the Midwestern. Let me just drop words.
Yeah,
in
drops syllables. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Princess
Princess
Cavallero is put in an embryonic tank. This tank allows him to be extremely good at piloting, but first he must run simulations to practice. Raph searches for the Kaban machine. And that's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. I guess his machine thirsts for blood.
Yeah, let's cover his plot altogether right now. After the reactor explodes, he's supposed to defend it from they're trying to defend it from the Kaban machine, but they failed, and his knight almost blew up. And can you believe they were going to decommission my knight? No, I can't believe it. Anyway, it's fixed now, and we're on patrol, and it's just the two of us, and it keeps dragging at my controls. It's the Equitus Bellum. It wants me to go out into the wastes, and his companion's like, dang, what do you mean it wants to go to the wastes? I say, I don't know, man. It just does. I know we can't sense anything. Our sensors aren't picking anything up, but I'm telling you, my machine wants to go that way. And by the way, while this is happening, this is like after the scrap code incident, right? Like the whole world is going to shit, and technology's blowing up in people's faces and destroying itself and causing all these accidents. And his machine, after having just gone this crazy emergency retrofit, and this whole crazy events happen, is pulling against his controls to take him into the middle of a wasteland. He's like, oh, that robot we killed, it knows where the robot we killed earlier or fought earlier is. It's got to be that's what it is, and it's this way, and we're going to go. And his companion's just like, yeah, okay.
Look, I think you're devaluing the bond between a knight and his mount. Wow.
I guess I am. I really am.
I do like the bit where they're going to decommission it, and he pulls a gun on people saying, I will kill every one of you fuckers before you can decommission my mount, goddammit.
And even when they are repairing it, he's like mad. He's like, he wants to run down there and tell him, stop, I'll do it myself.
I just wish there was an actual like connection back, but all the machine does is thirst for blood.
Yeah, that's what it. Like, and there's no development of this bond. It's not like he's struggling to bond with it earlier, or he's new to this role, or he's learning to trust it and it's learning to trust him. It's just, nope, this is my mount and I trust it completely, and when I tell my companion that I trust it completely, he trusts me completely, and it turns out to be right. The end.
It almost feels like they're embarrassed to commit to the mech thing of where the mech is another guy and you form a deep bond with them, or the mech is yourself and it's an extension of your body. It feels like they just avoid both of those by splitting it in half.
in the best Titan stories, that's very present. Is like the mech is also a guy. And so the best Titan stories, the mech is also a guy, and it's also like a gestalt of all the princeps who piloted this guy before. Like as they die in the cradle, basically, which is what usually happens for princeps. Their consciousness is at least somewhat absorbed into the machine spirit of the Titan. And so, like, voices from old princeps will come and speak to you and like, urge you to do things or make certain moves because of their experiences. So you have, like, an ancestral memory, and the machine itself is speaking to you, urging you to do things. And, yeah, usually they're just all bloodthirsty war machines trying to use their weapons all the time, and you're resisting that. But it's more interesting in other books. As I remember it, and I was hoping for more of that.
Book.
There's none
of that.
I think there are a couple of mentions, a couple of times, where a Warhound or a Reaver Titan, which are the more aggressive ones, the smaller, faster ones, wants to do a thing, and then the Princeps piloting it says, "No, don't," and it doesn't.
Right, but that's all technology in Warhammer, right? So it doesn't feel different or special. It just feels mundane in a way, which it makes the Titan fights all about the specific, like, almost nautical style descriptions.
Yeah.
Where that works in the ship-to-ship combat, as we saw in Battle for the Abyss, but it doesn't work here.
If you write it right, but this guy wrote it left, and it don't work.
Yeah, it don't work. It don't work left.
It don't work. Dalia and her friends trying to escape or trying to leave.
Good.
It's kind of cute. It's kind of
so
cute.
bad at it.
Yeah, Zosh is like, well, yeah, we're expecting an important shipment today, and we were worried we might get the wrong items, and so we came down here to make sure that if we get the wrong items, we know right away, and we can send them back so that they can go get us the right items, and that's why we're here.
I love them building on the lie to lie to Romu 31 as it's like clearly not taking Dalia's like, okay, we're lying. Let's just tell them.
Yeah.
But also Romu doing the cool thing like, yeah, but I'm here for you. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm your protector. I'll protect you. I like Romu. First of all, I think he's got a good name, Romu 31. I like good. It. More Mechanicus characters need numbers in their names. I think
that's the only one.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's a missed opportunity. And funny enough, like, although he's cold and scary and he's a protector and he's a man-machine weapon, he's like probably the most humane Mechanicum character we meet. He knows how to treat a panic attack. We learned.
Yeah.
And that's never given an explanation. Like, we're never like he's like, I've seen this before. Sometimes people don't acclimate well to new environments, and this is what you do. You're gonna be okay. I'm here. Let me link my autonomic nervous system with yours. It's
funny to think about. They deal with the most neurodivergent people of the Imperium, right? All the tech weebs.
Yeah.
Also, he tells jokes.
Yeah, he tells a joke. Yeah. He's like, next you're going to tell us that you were escorting slaves into the dungeons. I was. Oh, what? Oh, my God. That's horrifying. You're serious? I would never joke. Oh, my God. That's terrifying. Just kidding. Basically.
That was a joke.
That was a joke. I was kidding. Got you.
Got you. Owned.
Yeah. LOL. ROFL even. Yeah.
I like Dalia's. We didn't really mention, like, Dalia, like, goes into the Akashic Reader when the empath gets destroyed. There's like this little brief.
The handsome empath who trusts her implicitly because she's working on it and he can trust how much she cares. Yeah.
Then he dies horribly.
Screaming in her face, "I've seen all knowledge! Do not pity me! I know the lie of Mars. I know that the dragon sleeps beneath the sands." I'm paraphrasing here, but yeah. Screams prophecies into her face, and now she starts dreaming dragons.
She has sleep paralysis demons.
Yeah.
The darkness is always awful for her too. That's the part I like, especially when they're in the mag train and they go into the dark tunnel.
Yeah, she gets spooked.
That's why she has the panic attack.
Spooks or dukes, because she was partially reliving the shared memory of the dragon of Mars. And this is a thing. This was a big reveal. This, like, the way the dragon is described, both by first by Nihilus, and then later on we get more details about the dragon. I think in one of her dreams she mentions something about the stars, the others devouring the stars. It's obsessed with stars. That is a dead giveaway. That is Graham McNeil and Games Workshop telling us, the audience, that a long suspected rumor amongst fans is true. That yes, the Dragon of Mars, the machine spirit that some tech priests worship at this point in the timeline, and eventually basically all Mechanicus tech adepts worship the machine god, is just a Catan shard. Now, do you know what the Catan are, Faden?
So it is a board game you can play where you're gathering resources like wool, wood, rocks, bricks, or trying to build as many roads as you can or something.
Now, again, I need to remind you, you played and beat Rogue Trader.
Yeah, so Catan Shard is a Necron thing that lets you do stuff.
Yes.
It's like a god shard. It's a shard of divinity, essentially.
Yeah, it's gods of the material plane. So instead of a warp god, Catan were basically these giant mega super entities that were totally non-psychic, totally non-warp adjacent, just straight up creatures of the void that could devour stars and had unbelievable powers over the physical world. Just absolute domain and control over physics and the natural world. And they made a war millions of years ago across the galaxy against the Old Ones, an ancient psychic race who shaped most Xenos species, apparently, including the Eldari and the Orcs. And
yes, writers.
yeah. So the Old Ones go to war with the Necrons, who are being controlled by the Catan. And I don't know, a bunch of stuff happens. One of these Catan, these creatures that devour stars and control civilizations, is a Catan known as the Void Dragon. And it's often described as the most powerful, the one with the most supreme authority over, like, physical mechanics of reality, and whose influence is felt through, like, coursing electrical power, which something that's not mentioned, I think, hardly at all in this book, but that's common language among Mechanicus characters and other parts of Warhammer, is the motive force, which is like the holy touch of the machine god, electricity. Just electricity is the motive force.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, which that's how the Void Dragon's power always manifests, is like through electrical currents. Anyway, blah 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 blah. This is them giving us a huge, massive hint that the Dragon of Mars is a Catan shard that the Emperor has imprisoned here since before the Imperium was even a thing, since before even the Mechanicus was a thing.
Hell, since before the United States of America was even a thing.
Yeah, somehow. But I mean, a lot of that comes in a later scene that we'll get to later. But
yeah, we'll get to it.
But yeah, but that's something a Warhammer freak would have instant, like the first time we hear dragon, it'd be like, oh shit, that's real. That's it. There you go. And technically, my understanding is that this hasn't been 100% perfectly canonized yet, but it's all but confirmed here. Okay.
Yeah, I had no clue
rambling about the dragon.
I had no clue it was a Catan shard. I just thought it was a creepy, weird thing.
Yeah.
I do like the scenes of the death of innocents. I generally think Graham does have a good command of like mass destruction when he focuses on the like more horrific parts of it, right? Like I think that stuff works until it then starts going into like the battles themselves and the positioning of the battles.
I think I was disappointed by the descriptions of the death of innocents. He says, and then 900,000 people died when their chemical mixes were mixed up improperly, and a thermonuclear reactor blew up in this hive, and thousands died there. And this other place, they barely had time. They just narrowly shut down the reactors. And then in these other places, there were rebellions. The people were fighting each other and riots. But that's really all the description you get. I think more scenes like the one with the prospector who finds the Kaban machine, scenes like that.
That's better. Yeah.
Yes, intimate, singular individual scenes of the during the death of innocents that focus in on specific characters. Would have been so much better than 900,000 people died. Okay, that's just big number. Thanks for big number.
I kind of do like the thanks for big numbers in some aspects, though. I don't know. There's some of it does work for me in this one. Only during the death of innocents, though. When the big numbers happen for the rest of the battles, like outside of that specific, let me describe what's going on in all of Mars. Now let me describe the battles that follow after that. Those battles I did not care for. But I do like the scavenger scene. I do like the guy who couldn't hack it as a Skitarii.
Yeah, Skitarii. The regular soldier troopers of the Mechanicum who have not been servitorized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't hack it. His body couldn't accept the implants, and so he was forced out as a scavenger, basically.
Yeah, the poor guy just trying to get some scrap, runs into the Kaban machine, gets brutally killed for funsies.
Yeah, it blows up his transport, and his mask gets knocked loose or something like that. And he before he can find another means of breathing the toxic atmosphere of horribly industrialized Mars, his lungs start bleeding and he's hacking up blood and please help me. It's pretty horrifying scene.
And then gets crushed under the
crushed.
Yeah.
I do. The brutality of the tram, the maglev getting blown up by the Kaban machines, pretty hardcore too.
Very good.
Yeah. And its tracks are completely coated in the crushed corpses of dozens of people. Pretty brutal.
The attack.
There's some
scary.
tension there. There's some tension there. Yeah.
I think you're right. When it is personal, when the death and destruction is very personal and seeable by people, it can be scary.
Loki a little let down that none of her companions die in that attack.
It is really strange.
Yeah, one of them breaks an arm. And another gets a concussion, I guess. And that's it. That's the limit of the injuries when literally everyone else dies. And this is a fully loaded transport.
Yeah.
And everyone except for this crew dies. Yeah. Yeah. There's some good moments there. I think you're right. Dalia really is the highlight of this book in pretty much every way. Her action scenes are better. Her character is more interesting.
I truly hate thinking about the other scenes in this book. I really like it. These are some real stinkers of. None of the Titan stuff of Cavallero being in the tank running simulations. None of that hit for me. I don't care if he was angry or something. And
old man accepts that he needs hospice care. Was that plot line? Right, he's grumpy that he has a nurse at first, and then he's like, "No, she's great. She's done this many times. She does such a good job. I don't know what I'd do without her." It's just the grumpy old man who grows to love his nurse that he thought he'd never need.
All of Raph's stuff is just sleeper. Besides the part where he threatens to kill everyone for touching his car, I guess.
The night pilot, yeah. And the scenes with the tech adepts are boring too. Where it's just Zeph talking to her subordinates, and it's Kane talking to his subordinates, or it's Maximal talking to or it's Hal talking to his subordinates. It's just they're all so samey.
This book also loves to name every single forge by its full ass name, and then
tell you exactly where it is in relation to the others, even though it never really fucking matters.
Well, there's a map you see that you can refer to in the book.
Terrible, useless map. Don't bother. Yeah.
Yeah, I truly did not I was having a hard time staying awake when it was just, all right, let's look at this one. Let's look at that one. And it doesn't really pay off. There's only one forge that technically pays off in the end of this book, and you just need that one. You just need to talk about that one.
Yes.
Like, I do like the scene where the one guy says, hey, I noticed some of the Astartes forges, like specific ones. They seem to not be supplying the legions with what they need. And Calbor Hall is menacingly telling the subordinate, don't worry, I'll look into it.
Well, it's funny because at first he's like, my plans are perfect. If you followed my plans perfectly, then there wouldn't be an ammo shortage. He's like, well, dude, there's a human error aspect. Cowboy Howl's like, human error. It's always human error. Fucking humans. Humans are stupid. You should have accounted for the human error when implementing my plans.
Yeah.
And then you're right. Yeah. Then he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. I got it. I got this.
It's fine.
The approach to that scene, one tiny detail I liked. It was like, oh man, give me more of this. When he approaches and the protectors see him and he's like, oh yeah, I know they know me by sight, but security's top notch here at Olympus Mons. And so as he says, I'm Fabricator Kane, and he gives a handshake to the protector. They're like, the protector like launches like little mechadendrites through his mechanical hand into ports in Fabricator Kane's mechanical hand, and that's how he confirms his identity. Is like this little direct input interfacing between their mechanical components. I don't know. Like,
no, you're right.
Tiny,
the book
tiny
needed
little
more
moments
sex
like
scenes.
That.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. More techno sex.
More techno sex. I need more jacking in, please.
Yeah. I want more intimacy in the handshakes, the less flesh we have. Yeah.
It kind of is that, though, in a way, right?
Yeah.
Where you're getting felt up more to confirm who you are.
Yeah.
Weird.
One other note, though. A huge disappointment on, like, the Dark Mechanicus tech descriptions. Like, it's literally, the vaults of Moravec are finally opened. It's like this big, horrifying thing, something so terrifying that the Emperor had to hold his hand on the door for 16 minutes and then erase the collective memory of every single person who could possibly figure out where that location is and place some kind of psychic barrier around it so that nobody could ever find it. All of this stuff, so important. And what's in the vaults of Moravec? Oh, technology unlike anything we've ever seen. It accesses the warp, and it's like nothing we've ever seen. That's how it's described.
It looks like tech, but fucked up. Isn't that fucked up?
It's crazy. Oh, and then the descriptions of the battle servitors and the robots and stuff that come out of the factory is that they're blackened armor.
Yep.
They have spikes.
Yep.
And some of them wear fright masks. That's it. Like, otherwise, they are literally exactly the same as any other battle servitor. It's literally just, but their armor is black, and they have spikes on them now, and they wear scary masks.
Now,
Which,
to be fair,
all kinds of Mechanicus characters are wearing scary masks in this book.
Of course, but also, to be fair, that does kind of feel like the vibe of the chaos forms of the legions.
So
just add spikes and make them slightly scarier.
The one element that makes it grimdark is, like, the mutated, grotesque, impossible shapes. And like things that you look at them and you think, how could that possibly be? It's the body horror of it all. And you don't get any of that. You don't talk about like how the weapons are like hideously grafted and surgically like sewn onto their bodies, and the agony painted across the faces of these servitors, which are semi-conscious and aware of the horror being done to them. You don't get any of that. It's just like, no, they're black and they have spikes now.
Go pick up the Dark Mechanicum Skitari models right now.
Yeah, which don't exist, by the way, and maybe that's why we don't get descriptions. Is we don't.
Graham's not looking at a model.
There's no model to look at. Yeah,
that's a more dire picture, right?
Yeah,
there's no model to look at, so I can't describe it. What do you want from me?
There are Mechanicus Horus Heresy models, but there aren't really Dark Mechanicus Horus Heresy models, except for maybe a few Forge World models I'm not thinking of right now.
Because the entire thing is, it's the Mechanicum, but they have black robes instead, actually.
That really is it. It really is the only difference. Yeah, like you just gotta like if you look at the models, okay, it's the same guy, yes, but my guy's painted a different color, and you got to imagine he's got something like really annoying, like brain rot music blaring out of his speaker system. That's the difference.
Oh, we haven't mentioned it. Zeth invented something. Zeth invented Wi-Fi, right? Is that?
Oh, Noosphere. Yeah, I guess I can't believe we haven't talked about Noosphere yet. So yeah, Noosphere is wireless, like cloud communication between technical devices, but it's not really described that way in this book. Like, it's not described so much as technology as it's literally described as accessing a sphere, like the hydrosphere or the some part of the atmosphere. It's like it's describing an actual plane of existence in which information and communication are one. I think that's how it's
quantum
literally
computing,
described.
right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess that is kind of what's being described here is wireless quantum computing but it's not computing. It's just quantum communication between devices.
Yeah, it's beaming information as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because
so they invented a fax machine.
Each individual device still has to do its own computation, but it's shared effortlessly across the aether. So it's like Wi-Fi in the warp, I guess, is what it feels like.
I like how Dalia can see it.
Yeah, Dahlia's so psychic, she can just see it. She can just see what everybody else needs all these augmetics to perceive. Brand new augmetics that are like literally like just invented or rediscovered, I guess. Because it's all based on the technology that Zeph had been pioneering as a legacy of her teachers. But I don't know. The Noosphere. It's a sphere of knowledge, also like a thing that exists in like woo-woo spiritualist hippy dippy thinking. It's the place where all consciousness exists for non-materialists.
Just a collective consciousness.
And only the good guys get to have it.
Only the good guys get to have it, and that will eventually, I guess, write the downfall of a character we also don't need, the assassin, Remier.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that important bit?
Oh, my God. Yeah, we're introduced to a spooky assassin who floats, and she's very intimidating.
And she tortures
Melisande.
Megamucil. Yes, Melisande.
Yeah.
Because Melisande was a spy.
She comes right up to the moment before she plugs like a needle into her robot eye, which was almost horrifying. But that's the most interesting thing that happens in that scene.
Yep. And then I guess then this assassin shows up later again.
Yep, shows up later again to assassinate Zeph and almost does, but gets Noosphered.
What a weird. Gets Noosphered and then killed by. Remember Polly? Who remembers Polly?
Oh God! Oh my God! Zeph's other assistant, I guess.
That I completely forgot about when that part happens.
Her apprentice, who's in like one scene.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you killed my apprentice, but look, I turned him into a servitor, so there.
Why? Question mark?
Yeah. I don't know.
Destroyed? I was so confused when Zeth said, and obviously you remember Polly.
Yeah.
Which, no, I don't remember Polly.
No, I don't, actually. Yeah.
I completely forgot about Polly. Who the fuck is Polly? Why are we acting like this is a character? Should we get into part 3?
Yeah.
Origins Mechanicus. But it's like spelled weird, like Origen. Origins. Origins. Dalia reaches the dragon's lair while everyone is low-key freaked out about her powers. They meet Saemon, the current guardian of the dragon. He shows Dalia a book that transports the two to Libya in the way past. The Emperor fights against the dragon and seals it away. This is a retelling of the legend of St. George and the Dragon. The dragon is placed in the Nocturus Labyrinthus to cultivate the Mechanicum's belief in the Omnissiah. The Emperor wants them to be religious so he can be a stand-in for their god. Also, the dragon is some Necron Catan shard thing or something.
Yeah.
Saman passes on the duties of the guardianship to Dalia.
Semyon.
Yeah,
sorry. I was like, who? Oh, yeah, Semyon.
Semyon. Seravine has been seen too many impossible things and kills herself. Dalia tries to send her friends away as Romu 31 vows to stay by her side. However, the Kaban machine realizes its mistake and attacks the group again. They are saved by Raph, who finally finds the Kaban machine. After saving the day, Raph takes care of Dalia's friends. She says goodbye to them. Amidst the chaos, Rogel Dorn's Imperial Fist is tasked with bringing back order. He sends Sigismund to bring order to Mars, but mostly to secure the Astartes' cache of armor and weapons. Sigismund's forces are overwhelmed by the Dark Mechanicum and flee Mars. Zeth commands a force to protect Magma City, but in the end, she unleashes the lava to destroy Magma City. She foils an assassination plot by Remier, who is really scary. The Titans fight, and the battle rages until the lava takes them all. The end. Well, not the end. There is an addendum, but we'll get to it.
Yeah. I really don't want to talk about it anymore. Like, it's so funny. Like, it's, yeah, all the things you said happen, and that's the story. Like,
let's get the stuff I don't really want to talk about out of the way. We get this defense of Magma City. It's fine. Yeah. I like that it gets lava to fuck. I like that there's a heroic Helm's Deep charge that gets really boring instantly.
Yeah.
The Knights and the Titans go out and then try to kill the one Dark Mechanicum dweeb that they managed to get in his black pavilion or something like that. That part is kind of sick. He has like a shielded pavilion that he gets traveled around on.
Yeah. Mobile General's hub, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I simply wouldn't be in the lava area, but whatever. So that happens.
Yeah.
All right, get that out of the way. Raph saves them. That's neat.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. They're in the labyrinth. They meet a weird guy. Dalia says goodbye. I'm the reason why I was psychically drawn here is so that the Emperor could emperify me. And
now has that machine can heal machines with touch, which is sick.
Yeah.
I love heal droid.
Yes, force heal droid. This is like better. Yeah, this is like master heal droid.
Yeah, this is master heal droid.
Yeah, and oh wow, yeah, they have like she and Zoosh have like a conversation. Like, I don't think anybody should be imprisoned and punished forever. Nobody should suffer forever. And he's like, oh yeah, well the leader of the place where I'm from, he sucked. He deserved to suffer forever, and they just killed him. And I wish he was suffering forever.
Yeah,
like, well,
are you saying you wish Hitler was dead?
Yeah. and then she goes and she meets Semyon, and he makes her touch a book.
I like Semyon is the one freak that shows up in this book, though.
Yeah, he really is like the one real tech freak. Kind of just talks around people. She asks him to show her the dragon. Is like, stupid girl, doesn't she know she's inside the dragon? Like, I like that. He is a creepy, weird old man who's gone nuts, and he makes her be the psychic guardian of the dragon, and she realizes, damn, maybe Zeus is right. There are some things that just need to be locked up. This thing sucks. I guess I'm a jailer now.
This dragon wanted so many beautiful ladies.
Yeah, it's never really explained. It's just like, oh yeah, and it wants ladies.
Well, because again, this is just Saint George and the Dragon. This is what this actually is. This is the legend of Saint George versus the dragon. Saint George comes to kill the dragon to free his city from the oppressive regime of the dragon. But what if it was the Emperor, and what if the dragon was a Catan shard, I guess?
Yeah. That he could use to brainwash a civilization to be religious about technology when he's trying to dispel religion and promote a technologically advanced society. What?
But so he can be their
doesn't make any
god.
fucking sense.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Well, it's just because the Emperor's so big-brained.
Right, yeah, exactly. He can see in the future. He knows there's no other way he'd ever be able to win over the Mechanicum without this, and he doesn't want to have to destroy their technology to take their technology. He needs to quickly conquer the galaxy, and so this is a fast and efficient way to get their resources under his control, and he'll just deal with the problem later.
Do you think maybe the Emperor's real failing is he like puts in too many shortcuts? He really tries to like take a process that should be long and takes time and tries to say, "I'll do it in a day."
Yeah, I mean, so like ultimately, that I don't want to say too much about future books, but that does kind of that adds up. I mean, like it's something that a lot of other perpetual characters will meet later on. The people who are immortal and have been living for thousands of years, most of their complaints about him is that he's too many shortcuts. He's doing things the brutal and fast way because he's convinced that if he doesn't hit a specific timeline, things will be worse.
What if he's doing a really stupid Harry Seldon from Foundation? Is basically the Emperor's vibe.
Yeah, we just have to.
Yeah.
Well, he's doing a really stupid Worm Emperor from Dune. We just have to. Just trust me, bro. Yeah.
Psychohistory.
Yeah.
Psychohistory, but dumb is the Emperor's vibe. Oh. I do think it's kind of sick. Graham does this amazing thing though. Let me find the page of Graham making a really interesting statement about Libya, because I think it's important to set up that we have this book that shows history perfectly, right? This isn't an interpretation. This isn't ambiguity. There's nothing like here to dispute. This is all it's showing is facts. What happened?
Well, no. I need to push back a little bit specifically here because Semyon, when Dalia after this vision asks Semyon, "Is this real? Is that what really happened?" He's like, maybe. He's like, maybe this is just an allegory for what happened. He does say that.
That's true. The part that's a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, finish, sorry.
No, you're right. That is important to say. I guess it's not all facts. It's just the way it talks about this part. This is Semyon talking about where they're at. But in answer to your question, the city is called Cyrene, and this is a representation of a land once known as Libya. It is an ancient land, though the people you see before are far from the first to settle here. The Phoenicians came here first, then the Greekans, then the Romans, and finally the Arabi. Arabi?
Arabi.
The Phoenicians came here first, then the Greekans, then the Romans, and finally the Arabi. Well, not finally, but that's who rules now. And it's such an interesting thing to be like, yeah, the people who are here first are actually the colonizers in a sense. Like, let's just list the colonizers first. They're kind of the people that matter here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think we need this. I don't know what this does for me right now.
It's just a very British view of history.
Yeah, very, very British and also Roman-coded view of history, too, in a way.
Yeah, and very empire-coded view of history. Yeah.
And I wish, like, that wasn't so tossed aside in a way that, like, feels wild. Like, because Dalia also tends to spot these inconsistencies and points them out. I think has made mention of, well, it's really weird that, eugenics happens. What's up with that? Like, stuff like that. And just kind of, let's just do a casual drive-by of colonialism over here.
Just a lot of big topics just kind of glanced at.
Yeah, just kind of glanced at. It's just spice, right?
Yeah.
It helps tell you the history of this place. And I'm like, I don't know what this is doing here. I really don't.
Yeah. It's Warhammer often will do this where it's just like, oh, and guys, we're aware that ideology is a thing. Did you know? Ideology is a thing, and anyway, this gun is really big.
Well, and and also it's like we are aware that history happens. Let's say what the history is. Now, we're not going to think about why we're sharing a specific type of history of this place.
No commentary, just like, hey, yeah, it happened.
Yeah, it's just what happens, and history is important to flesh out the world, and
it's often used to make the point that these things just keep happening. This is it just keeps happening. Human nature is war and exploitation, and it will always be this way.
Right, and that is kind of the thesis of Warhammer. This is kind of just human condition. This is such human condition that there is a psychic manifestation of that human condition in the form of the warp.
Yeah, battle never alters.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I think it can tell good stories with that sort of premise. It can also just fall into the general trappings of just being a bit colonialist. It can just follow those trappings.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I know I'm probably never going to be satisfied with them thinking about it, but that's the other thing that's kind of disappointing because they could. It's kind of just there in certain ways.
Yeah, and honestly, it's an interesting... This is kind of just how liberals deal with history. This is how liberals deal with ideology. It's just like, oh yeah, it's a thing. I'm aware of it. I'll acknowledge it. Moving on. Nothing to analyze here.
It's a thing that happened in the past. It doesn't apply to now.
Yeah, that was a completely different universe because it was then. Completely different circumstances now that we're in the now. Yeah. Unrelated. It
is sick, though, that the Emperor fights a dragon in Libya. All that being said, that's kind of sick. I like new Emperor fact. The Emperor fought a Catan shard in fucking Libya.
Finds a very specific weak point and makes the mark, hits it in its one weak scale.
Its glowing weak point, like a
right
fucking
in its smog
Nintendo
hole.
boss.
Yeah. Right in its Smaug hole.
I love a smog hole.
A Smaug hole. Yeah. Which is also, I think, part of the legend of the Void Dragon in Warhammer, is that it was defeated millions of years ago by when its one weakness was exposed and exploited.
Well, that and I think that's the legend of.
I mean, that is just the dragon thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the Christian legend.
Yeah.
It's also interesting again, being concerned with the white Christian interpretation of history and the events, which they're writing from experience.
Beowulf ends in a dragon slaying, and it was not initially a Christian story.
No, that's true. That's true.
So, yeah. There's dragon slayers across all cultures, and that's something that gets brought up in this book. Is like, oh, this is just humans. Humans are always slaying that dragon. This is the Jungian, archetypal human narrative. Yeah.
I do love how one of them, I can't remember who says this, but why couldn't it be the lady saving the prince?
Oh, Severin? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, you'll notice it's never a lady saving the prince. And Dalia's like, yeah, well, maybe it's just the culture at the time.
Yeah. It's just funny.
That throwaway lines there. Yeah. They were definitely funny.
Yeah. I legitimately appreciated that little bit of liberal feminism. That was just a nice little treat of just why isn't it the ladies saving the dude? Why can't you play as Zelda instead of Link? It really felt like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, that's also a fair point. Why can't you play as Zelda saving Link?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Echoes of Wisdom exist. Don't get at me. Leave me alone. Is there anything else we want to talk about in this book?
No.
I do. Oh, I do. I do like it when Rogel Dorn shows up again.
Oh. Yeah.
I like the brief stint of, hey, we need to acknowledge that our neighbors are having a fucking issue.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like the high fantasy dudes in palace talking about big things, right?
Well, it certainly was. It's Yeah, the commander-in-chief of the Imperium, the acting commander-in-chief of the Imperium, and the acting head administrator of the Imperium discussing, their chief ally and weapons supplier engaging in civil war. So yeah, it's big, heavy scene, but like, I don't know, it felt so random and ad hoc. Like it.
Oh, it
all
worked
of those,
for me.
I don't know. It's important things they're discussing. Another important lore moment where Rogel Dorn acknowledges that there were 2 other Primarchs, but that we're not. And then Malkador is like, nope. We are not talking about that.
Yeah, not now, bud.
Yeah. That's something that'll happen at least a couple more times in this series, where characters are like, there were 2 other, and it's almost always Malkador. I said, nope. Stop talking.
We get to those Primarchs and they suspiciously look like Malkador for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why.
Yeah.
I see. I don't know. I really did enjoy kind of getting the zoom out, going back to a character we haven't heard from since Flight of the Eisenstein.
God, you're right. Wow.
This book also does reference the other books have happened, sometimes in very funny ways, where Dalia is lamenting never seeing the places that you see in the Horus Heresy.
Oh yeah, there's that one scene where she's at her like darkest, bleakest point, and she's trying to find a reason to live, really. And
well,
she's
the
thinking,
Kaban machine is coming.
Yeah, she's like, man, I'll never get to see all those places I've read about, and she just lists like half the locations that have been named in the series so far, even places that like you said, like Lair, like Planet Lair. I'll never see the oceans of Planet Lair. Like what is that?
I'll
like
never
a thing?
get
like,
to hear about the planet Murder. Like what are you talking about, ma'am?
Yeah, what, dude? What? Yeah. I just love all the poetry by all the by that other character my author wrote. Yeah. That was kind of funny.
This book does, though, mention, like, the events of the previous one. There's a Furious Abyss mention. There's
that's...
Alfarius is a mention, too.
The Furious Abyss, a note on that. Romu 31 is like, we're passing a great big ship factory right now. Although the biggest ship ever is about to be built over...
Shouldn't know about that.
over the Jupiter. Yeah, he should not know about that. There's absolutely no way this guy should know that piece of information.
I guess maybe Zeth is, has spies in the pies elsewhere, maybe. But, it is very funny.
I don't know. Maybe, I guess. But it's that... There are many other characters who could drop that nameless, pointless reference into this chapter. Calvor Hal, for example, or one of his allies. Yeah. No reason why it couldn't have been one of them to say this.
I think the impulse to reference the other books, smart move. I think it's good. They should do that more because it hasn't happened.
Sure.
But they should do it better.
Yeah, this book moves the plot like definitively forward compared to the last few books we read. And yet, it's just so plotting and boring as it does it.
Yeah. I mean, it's telling that my favorite book is Descent of Angels, a book that doesn't deal with the heresy for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, that should be telling in itself.
Right. I would say... Sorry.
I don't know. I just like imagining Rogel Dorn just walking through this giant gilded palace. Plotting about the future of things.
We'll get plenty more of that.
Please. I love palace stuff. I love palaces in fiction.
Final thoughts?
Well, there's a final chapter to talk about.
Oh,
Addenda. Sure. So here's my summary for Addenda. The Book of the Dragon is missing. The next Guardian of the Dragon will appear in 40K.
To be continued in 10,000 years.
It's so funny that, all right, and in 10,000 years, the next dragon will appear, or next guardian will appear. It's like, okay, thank you. Also, who stole that book? Who stole that book? I mean, do you know?
I don't know. It's not in any story that I am intimately familiar with. So yeah, when that part happened, I was just like, I don't fucking know, man. I don't know what this is.
Lingering
I don't care.
mystery. Oh, I care.
Yeah.
I care. I'm excited to find out what happened to that book. We better find out. But
Well,
from your dismissiveness, I have a feeling it might not be important.
I mean, who knows? Maybe there are plenty of Horus Heresy books I haven't read, so
Okay.
it could be in those. It's not in any of the ones I have read, and maybe it is, and I just wasn't paying attention. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
maybe you're like, what fucking Book of the Dragon? What are you talking about?
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah.
I do love the scene of the Sardes telling the one guy, "Hey, we gotta leave. You're a fabricator general now. We packed up our armor and bullets and shit. Let's go."
I did like that moment actually, because it's very like that's very much what happens when the real Imperial powerhouses show up to a collapsing neighbor or ally.
Yeah.
They take everything they need and they decide who's going to be in charge next when they put them back in power. It's like, all right, you'll be our proxy.
You are our disposed fabricator general, and
Yeah.
you will live in the Imperium, giving press talks to Raytheon.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will be doing.
Come on, Reza Kane. Yeah.
Will be it's so
Reza
funny.
Kane Pahlavi.
Fabricator
Yeah.
Pahlavi.
Yeah, Fabricator Pahlavi.
Jesus.
Oh, let's be done
Mechanicum.
with Mechanicum.
Yeah, you're done with Mechanicum.
Fuck that
You
book.
can tell we really did. I mean, like, do we want to break out a ranking? It's been a while since we done a ranking of our
Jeez.
books. Or do you want to
Yeah.
wait till? Or do you want to wait till next month when we hit 10, a clean number?
Well, yeah, let's do that. Let's wait until we finished the collection of books or stories that we're
Yeah.
reading next. Tales of Heresy.
Our
An
first anthology. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have the back of the anthology to read?
Yes, I do. When Horus the War Master rebelled against the Emperor, the ensuing civil war nearly destroyed the Imperium. War raged across the galaxy, putting Astartes against their battle brothers in a struggle where death was the only victor. But long before that, the legions struggled with their identities and the demands of the Great Crusade. From battles with alien invaders to conflicts within a legion and even dealing with a wayward Primarch. These stories show the battles fought as the Great Crusade draws to a close and the Horus Heresy begins.
Pretty sick cover for this one, though, I gotta say. One of the cooler covers we've had, I think.
Oh shit, is that Horus?
Nope.
Oh, okay, who is that?
That's Angron.
Okay.
Yeah. He's angry.
Going into a store that sold Warhammer figures and seeing the forms of Angron and Mortarion and Fulgrim, especially Fulgrim, made me go, what the fuck?
Yeah. Did you see Magnus the Red?
No.
He gets bird wings and bird feet.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
The authors we got on this one, we got Dan Abnett, Matthew Farrer, Mike Lee, hey, our boy Graham McNeil, Anthony Reynolds, James Swallow, hey, we like a James Swallow, and
We do.
Gav Thorpe. I felt like I've seen this name before, but
Let me see if I've read anything of his.
The
Gav Thorpe.
Lion is a novella that Gav Thorpe did.
Okay. He deals with a lot of Raven Guard books.
Okay.
He specializes in Raven Guard, Dark Angels. He wrote the Lorgar Primarch book, and that sucked.
Can't wait to read that.
He wrote The First Wall, which I struggled to get through.
Man.
He wrote The Beast Arises. I hated that book.
Should we share the contents of Tales of Heresy, the stories that we get in this? I have a list.
Sure.
Okay, this also will come with the authors, so you're gonna hit the authors again. We got Blood Games by Dan Abnett, Wolf at the Door by Mike Lee, Scions of the Storm by Anthony Reynolds, The Voice by James Swallow, Call of the Lion by Gav Thorpe, This one looms large, and I'm very excited for us to talk about. The Last Church by Graham McNeil.
Oh, that's right.
And After Dinesha by Matthew Farrer. The Last Church.
Yeah, I forgot about The Last Church. That was, I think, probably my first introduction of Warhammer to you was The Last Church. And we found like an animated version of it that was
bad.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool that you did that, dude. Like, animation is hard, and
you know what? I think it's more the content. I think it's more the contact, though.
Yeah,
it's more the text.
I think McNeil's what we really had problem with. Yeah,
strange. I wonder if there's a podcast now having the same repeated issue of the most peaks and valleys guy ever, Graham McNeil.
Well, we'll get more of him and others. So, a smorgasbord of stories next time on The Lost and the Damned.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Stay alive.
Bye.
I love you. Bye.